Today, I want to try out and see if I can turn any photo reference picture into a Ingres portrait drawing. Welcome back to another new episode of Art Tutorials. My name is Victoria, and today I'm going on a journey just to see if I can actually turn any portrait photos and pictures into a Ingres drawing. So I'll show you the steps I took in order to practice and to achieve that goal of mine. So if you guys are ready, come along and I will show you what I did on this fun experiment and journey. So before we jump into this new adventure and experiment, we'll need some tools to help us along the way for this journey. So let's go ahead and take some picture references of Ingres drawings, and then we will also need new references of portraits of people from photography. The next thing we'll also need is some art materials. We need to draw something, right? So let's go ahead and grab an HB pencil, an eraser. I'm using Strathmore Sketch paper. You can use printing paper or whatever paper you have at home. And we will also need a Kneadable eraser as well. Did I forget anything? No, I think we got everything. So HB pencil, eraser, paper, Kneadable eraser. That's it. Okay, so now we're good to go. We got our materials, we're ready to rumble, and let's go ahead and do the first step, which is observing. So we're not going to actually draw just yet. We want to get to know a little bit more of what do we need in order to make a portrait look like Ingres portrait drawings, and what's specific about his particular style, and what are some features that makes it look like an Ingres drawing. So one of the first things that I've noticed about Ingres portrait drawings is Ingres has a very rounded contour of the face, making it look very full, plump, and smooth. So as you can see, the outer outline of the face, so basically this part, you kind of see it's very rounded, very subtle, mostly for the female and portraits of ladies. The second thing that I did notice about Ingres portrait drawings is another very obvious feature is the huge upper eyelid that Ingres always loves to add. So you almost see that in most of his female portrait drawings. The third thing over here that I did notice in Ingres drawings is that there is a specific way he applies the shadows for the nose, and most of the shadows on the side of the bridge of the nose, and also that long part and the tip of the nose has slightly bit different shadowing. So he has a more darker accent and darker shadows on specific areas though, but not as much on like the entire surface. It's more on the edges. The nostrils are the darkest and most defined area of the nose, and the shape changes depending on the person since not everybody's nose is exactly identical. Did you also notice another main feature from Ingres drawings is that most of the lady portraits' eyebrows are quite defined, a little bit softer, and also more like a rainbow-like arc. So no like really harsh angles or anything, but it's very smooth, very curved, very defined, and it's quite visible, so it doesn't quite disappear and fade away. Another feature that I did notice as well is the lips. So the lips are also very special. I don't know if people at this time mostly naturally looked like this in that time period, but his natural lips are very stylish and very stylistic. So the lips itself could be a work of art on its own, It's an elegant shape and form, and it has lots of beautiful curves, but Ang was also known to change it to make it more aesthetically pleasing, because he was an artist that likes to redesign, reform certain parts of the human body. So it is anatomically correct, but at the same time it's also very emphasized, and he kind of changed it so it looks more beautiful than it is in actual real life. So he kind of like made it a little bit more fantasy-like. Yeah. And then another feature that I did notice, that it's the shadow around the face. So the lighting around the entire face area is quite soft. So it's not super harsh or dark or anything, and not heavily contrasted or anything. It makes sense since women have a softer feature, and to make that even more obvious is to make a light and little shadow on the face other than the eyes, nostril, lips, and eyebrows, so that it kind of makes it more elegant, more beautiful that way. Okay, and that's pretty much all the features that I've discovered out. If you guys discover any other features, please do leave a comment below. I would love to know. And it's mostly about the experiment, observation, and just learning along the way, and just to see what we can discover. Okay, now let's start sketching. Now that we know all the more or less 6 features of Ang's portrait drawings, we're gonna go ahead and jump in and pick our very first portrait. Okay, so here is portrait number 1. Let's see. I'm gonna call this first portrait Anna. Okay, so Anna is the very first portrait, and we'll see how many troubleshooting we'll have to fix and learn in this particular sketch. So to make it easier, I chose a picture reference with a more similar and simple pose that relates a lot more to one of Ang's drawings, so it doesn't look as drastically different, because I'm just kind of starting. I don't want anything super hard or super challenging. I just want to make sure that I can actually apply the features from Ang's drawings to the picture reference so that I can create my new portrait drawing. At first, it was doing good. The outline worked out really well. The sketch of the basic shape worked really well, but something went really, oh boy, it went really off. So as I started adding the shadows, the eyes looked very anime-like, and that usually comes from me doing a lot of anime illustrations, so that kind of naturally just translated into a lot of my sketches, unless I am drawing exactly from a picture reference, and then that usually turns to realism, doesn't really avert to the anime and illustration side of me. So the funniest thing is that since we are kind of creating more or less a new character here out of a photo reference, it's slightly kind of translating into a little bit more anime. So the anime eyes, not a big fan of it, because that's not what Ang's drawings look like. This is because of the harsh outline that I have. So also having that around the eyes, the shadow around the eyes and the lips were also a little bit too harsh. So to fix that, I used my soft brush to help soften the hard features and smooth it down. So that saved it, thank goodness. But something about the shape of the facial features looked a little off too, like the nose, the contour of the face, and I was just not satisfied with this first one. So sorry, Anna. I am going to try next sketch, number 2. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the experiment number 2, and let's call this portrait Tania. So you must be asking, how did she turn out? Well, let's find out. First, the sketch was fine because this time I made sure to pay attention to the form and proportions. I had to deviate and change the form a little bit, but remembering the soft features. So make sure you have that list of features that you want to keep in mind about what makes an ankle drawing more like ankle, because that will be super helpful along the way, because sometimes when you're drawing you kind of lose sight of like what you're supposed to keep in mind, and then next thing you know you're just adding like a whole bunch of random stuff that's what you would naturally add it into like your illustrations or drawings. So keep that in mind. Remind yourself. Okay, so rounded features, rounded outline of the face, big huge eyelids, don't forget that, and define the eyebrows, soft shading, and elegant lips. So I added those to Tania, and I also added the shadows in, and I was like, okay, things should be all right this time. I kept an eye out for the things that I've learned from Anna's portrait, not making the same mistakes again, and yeah, but something did actually still go wrong. There was still a problem to fix. So the nose had no more issues. I fixed this on that. Keep an eye on it. But the eyes, it's the eyes again. They're too clean. So what I mean by clean is that it's too sharp. So Aang's eyes have a softened feature. So also, I think I still made the eyes a little bit too big on Anna. Sorry, not Anna, Tania. And hence anime has like really large eyes. So yeah, that's okay. That's our second experiment. Oh, also, if you guys want to see the full version of the art tutorial, and you can draw together along with me and follow the step-by-step instructions, I'll be listing art materials, step-by-step instructions, and also extra references and pictures you can practice with. Please check out my Patreon, and then you can get all of those plus a lot more of the other tutorials before that, so you can get to learn exactly what steps I took in order to draw any photo reference and turn that into a Aang portrait drawing. That's patreon.com/VictoriaUArt. Okay, time for portrait number 3. Let's do it. Third time is the charm. Third time is going to be the charm. So let's try out this third portrait. And what shall we call her? I'm gonna call her Gina. So, Gina, this one turned out even better than the other two, which is great because that's what you want to look for. But like, if it didn't turn out better, that's okay. We'll do the 4th and the 5th one. The key idea is just to kind of keep experimenting and see what worked and what didn't. So with Gina, I made sure that I made the face more rounded and have a softer contour for the face. I also made sure that the soft shading is applied around the eyes, not too sharp like Tania, but also not too soft so that I kind of lose the features and likeness to the photo reference. So the eyebrows are also a lot more curved and arched compared to the boxy rectangular shape of the picture reference. So softening those features down. Not so much eyelashes either, since it's not a very visible feature in Aang's portrait drawings. it would look a little bit more interesting if I did add eyelashes though, but I decided to keep it out. But so far, we figured out what makes it look more like an angle drawing and what makes it not look like an angle drawing. But this is mostly for female portraits, so would that also apply to male portraits that Ang did? Maybe? So check out this video if you want to learn more on how I turned any photo picture reference into a Ang portrait drawing, the male portrait version. So you can check that out. Link is here, or the video link is over there. Sorry, let's move it over here. And if this video is not out yet, you can check out this video over here where you can learn more about the art movement and era that Ang came from, which is neoclassicism. So check out this video over here to learn more about his art history and the era and what influenced him in his artworks. Again, thanks for watching today's video and looking forward to sharing more videos with you. Remember to like and subscribe to get the latest updates of the newest video coming out each week. And also comment below if you have any questions. I would love to chat with you guys and answer some of your questions. Super happy that you guys joined in, and till next time, bye!